Hello, my name is Anne KEEFER, and today I am presenting the systematic review by Mrs. Kada and colleagues titled Assessing the Fitness to Drive of People with Cognitive Impairment, a Systematic Review. Why is this topic so important? In fact, in Germany, there is currently no regular standardized assessment of the driving ability of people with dementia or MCI using evidence-based methods. Even though the high prevalence of dementia is an issue of great social relevance. The overall approach of this review was in line with the PRISMA guidelines, and the research question of this review is which evidence-based methods are suitable for assessing the fitness to drive in people with dementia or mild cognitive impairment. On the right side, you can see the PRISMA flowchart for study selection. For that review, we looked into 7 databases, and as a result, we identified a total of 2,750 publications which were suitable. In the end, 30 articles were included into the systematic review after duplicates were removed and eligibility was checked against the inclusion and exclusion criteria. But now to the results. It was possible to separate the driving ability test generally into 2 different categories. On the one hand side, we have practice-based test procedures, and on the other hand side, we have theory-based assessment instruments. First, let's look at the practice-based test procedures. The practice driving test is considered the gold standard for assessing fitness to drive in previous literature and is therefore used very frequently in studies. However, only 4 out of 13 studies have shown that people with dementia or MCI performed worse in the practice driving test than cognitively healthy people, and is therefore an appropriate method. The driving simulator is also a commonly used method. The results show quite consistently that people with dementia or MCI made more driving mistakes in simulator compared to the control group. Naturalistic driving is a special form of the practice driving tests. The test takes place in a real car, but the driving behavior is recorded by cameras and sensors. As you can see, 5 out of 5 studies show that naturalistic driving represents really a reliable assessment of driving performance. But now to the theory-based methods. Neuropsychological tests were used to test global cognitive abilities in almost every study, especially the mini-mental state examination. In only 4 out of 28 studies, low mini-mental state scores correlated significantly with poor driving performance. Therefore, there is a strong agreement that the mini-mental state examination is not sufficient as a single tool for a driving ability. The trail-making test was also frequently used in the studies. 5 out of 16 studies were able to show significant results between the trail-making test and the driving performance. Driving-specific testing has rarely been used in studies to date. In 2 out of 2 studies, this kind of driving test was a suitable method. Self-assessment by questionnaires was used in 4 studies. 2 of these showed significant results so that self-assessment could be identified as a suitable method in 2 of 4 studies. Evidence-based results could be identified in all methods, but the results were mostly very diverse, except for naturalistic driving and driving-specific testing. Each of the methods has its specific advantages and disadvantages. For example, the use of the driving simulator is quite easy and requires little effort in practice, but it can lead to simulator sickness, which means that people get dizzy, for example. It is also important that a test is really only a momentary assessment. For example, time of day variations cannot be taken into account. Now to the practical implications. A reliable statement on driving should not be made based on a single cognitive test, but a combination of different tests and methods is very useful and necessary. For example, first a trail-making test and then a naturalistic driving test. In line with international regulations, there should be a standardized procedure for driving assessment worldwide. Now I would like to thank you very much for your attention and I'm available to answer any questions you may have to this email address given here.